For many of us, YouTube is a place to learn, to laugh, and to be entertained. But there is this sadistic undercurrent of content taking place on the platform that too often goes unnoticed. For every evolution of dance, Oh Long Johnson or Baby Shark, there is a vlog at a famous suicide spot, a scary Peppa Pig spoof on the YouTube Kids app, or inappropriate ads on a Minecraft video. In truth, YouTube has no shortage of controversial content. People throwing away their morals for a chance at fame and money. So it comes at no surprise that flying underneath YouTube's radar is content that is so disgusting and sadistic that I can't believe it was even filmed in the first place. The content we're going to discuss in this video is so twisted and upsetting that even though it's available publicly elsewhere on YouTube, I've decided to censor it myself so my channel doesn't break YouTube's terms of service. Here's a taste of what I'm talking about. Edward's Hill is a channel dedicated to rescuing kittens in life-threatening situations. From hanging by a string, being eaten alive in a snake pit, or being trapped in wire meshing. The man in these videos finds these kittens and takes them out of the horrible situation. On the surface, he's a hero, but things are not quite what they seem. I have a strong suspicion that these videos are fake and that the man in this video is not just rescuing the kittens, he is actually putting them in the situation in the first place because he knows he's going to get views. And I know that's a very serious allegation, but take a look at this first video and you will see exactly what I mean. For the first 23 seconds of this video, the guy just films the cat hanging there. 23 seconds. And about halfway through that, there's a cut. So who knows how long the cat was actually hanging there before they decided to help. And then we're just watching some guy walking along the road playing with a stick as if that's something that people would realistically want to film. But the story is he's walking along, he hears the cat, and so he goes running towards them. And here comes your first clue that this video is 100% faked. Yeah, they made a cut. I think they're not even trying to hide the fact that this is a fake video. And then we've got another cut. I don't know how on earth they expect people to think this is a real video. Just from what I've shown you so far, I think it's obvious why I'm so suspicious about these videos. There were so many signs in there that this video is fake. From the bad premise, to the bad acting, to the idea that they could get away with a cut. The only thing in this video that was real was a cat in distress. I think we can all agree that they put that cat in that situation, and then they went off to film some exposition for some reason, as if that would make it more realistic, or to try to prove that they weren't the people who did this. But if for whatever reason you need more evidence to prove to you that these guys are abusing animals, the next video I'm going to show you is even more disturbing. Because not only is the cat in a situation they can't escape, they're being attacked by snakes, and it follows pretty much the same format. We get the establishing shot of the animal in distress for an uncomfortable amount of time. In this video it's 30 seconds. Before the guy shows up pretending he's seeing the cat for the first time. We then wait another agonizing 30 seconds before the guy finally helps the cat, which is when we discover that the kitten has had their back legs taped together. And what this video has, which I think the other one didn't so much, is that you can see the level of care that this person has for the cat. Then the guy starts tormenting the snakes for some unknown reason. I'm just going to show you one more video from this channel. This one involves a kitten stuck in a wire mesh. Again, we have a shot of the cat in distress, this time for about 25 seconds, and then an unnatural alibi shot including ridiculous cuts. So if I had to guess, the process is that they film these exposition shots before they rescue the animal, and then they put the animal in a ridiculous situation, pretend they find them, and then save them. But how stupid do you think these people are? Well, the answer is very. Let's take a look at that last cat again. Do you notice anything familiar? Well, I strongly believe that this is the same cat as this cat from the first video I showed you. They've both got these large ears and the same eye shape, and the pattern on their faces and front legs are incredibly similar. Are we really expected to believe that this cat was unfortunate enough to get themselves into a life-threatening situation twice? Or are we just not supposed to realise that this is the same cat? After making this realisation, I went back to the Edwards Hill channel to see whether they had used the same cat in other videos. Except once I got there, the account had been terminated for violating YouTube's policy on violence. This is good news, but it's unfortunate timing, because I wasn't able to fully expose them for the vicious people they are. But from my initial visit to the channel, here's what I remember. In the video tab surrounding the snake video I showed you, there were multiple other videos that followed the same premise. Multiple cats in situations with snakes. Then I saw a change in the trend when videos became more recent. The more recent the video, the worse the situation. It seemed as though they were trying to one-up themselves with their own content. There were two images in particular that I unfortunately remember vividly. One was the stiff body of a dead cat that had gotten their head supposedly stuck between two planks of wood. And the other one was a bag of drowned kittens. The Edwards Hill channel had progressed to the point that they were not only abusing animals, they were actually killing them. I wish that I could say that it was just this channel and that this fake animal rescue genre was minuscule, but even as I record this, I have a list next to me with over 50 similar channels that I found in under an hour of research. The situation is far worse than any of us could imagine, and I'm going to share all of it with you in just a moment. But before we go any further, 62% of you watching this are already subscribed, which means that for many of you, it's your first time here. Why not join this growing community right now by hitting the subscribe button below? That way you won't miss out on more rabbit hole explorations like this one, educational content on animal rights topics, or my latest gimmicks aimed at shoving veganism down your throat. Hi, would you sign my petition to legalise dog meat?
As in dog meat,
As in, we breed the dogs and we kill them humanely and... Remember, if you don't like my content, you can always unsub later. And if you're already subscribed, thanks so much for helping me grow this community. Just make sure you hit that bell icon and turn on all notifications so you're the first person to know when I release a new video. I can assure you that typing first in the comments makes everyone think you're really, really cool. Now hit that like button and let's get back to the video. The next video I'm going to show you is called Boy Rescues Baby Puppy Was Bitten by Big Dog. The description reads, cute puppy play around in the home area, but have a big dog from outside bites by no one know. After see this, a kid said to her brother, our puppy have blood. His brother took cut puppy to rescue, by put the medicine to stop blood. Assuming you can understand that, let's see how believable this story really is. Just like the Edwards Hill videos, we get this establishing shot of the puppy, a shot that lasts for 1 agonizing minute. During this shot, we get a glimpse of what looks like blood on the dog's chest. One of the things that made this video stand out to me in particular was that the so-called rescuer is a child, maybe around 14 years old. So now we have this extra sinister layer. Is this child doing this on his own accord, or is he being coerced by others who don't want to be on camera? I wish that we could explore this idea further, but it's difficult to know from the video alone, since very little information is given. But what we do know is that the child has as little regard for the dog as Edwards Hill did for the cats. The way the boy holds up the dog by their front legs despite having a chest injury shows little empathy. But when he does this, we get our first real glimpse of the injury. Now this is where I get particularly suspicious. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that doesn't look like a dog bite. At first, I wasn't sure the injury was real at all, and that maybe they had put fake blood onto a dog. But as I watched through the video and got to the part where the boy removes the excess blood from the dog, all doubt left my mind. This injury is real, and it's not a dog bite at all. What we're looking at is one clear cut. For comparison, here is the least gruesome image of a real dog bite that I could find. So we can see here that there should be multiple points of injury, which makes sense because dogs generally have multiple teeth. So unless there's an aggressive one-toothed dog running around, This injury is more analogous to a cut from a blade. Again, for comparison, here's one of the tamer images of a cut by a blade that I could find. The boy then rubs medicine into the dog's wound, if the description is to be believed. I'm not an expert in these things, but the substance they're rubbing into the dog looks to me more like mud. Of course, I hope I'm wrong about this, so maybe some of you watching can let me know if you've ever seen medicine that looks like this. At this point, you may be worried about the fate of the puppy. But don't worry, there's a follow-up video. As you can see, the dog has completely recovered, the cut has healed, and fur has grown back over the wound. You might think that this video is taken several months later, but according to the description, it was just 1 week. So here's what I think. I think they filmed this video first and kept it for a later date. Then, perhaps a day or two later, they cut the puppy's chest with a blade and placed them under the house before filming the other video. Again, everything here is staged, except for the suffering animal. So, what is the motivation here? Perhaps it's clout. These are not small videos. Shockingly though, they decided to leave the comments turned on. This is just disgusting. That puppy didn't get bitten. It obviously got cut with a knife. The puppy is obviously scared of them as well. Not only did the puppy get cut with a knife, you can tell the puppy is scared of them. It's obvious that they're the ones that cut the puppy. I am so surprised this channel and this video is not taken down. This is what humanity has come to. But the saddest thing of all comes when you realise that this video is a re-upload of a stolen video. We know this because both videos were published on the same day, and the watermarks for the other videos on this channel don't match. In all likelihood, the original poster of these videos had their channel suspended, and then this poster stole them. Chances are that the original channel had a much larger following, and that these videos are saved on computers and phones all around the world. While editing this video, I searched Google for KM Animal, the name in the watermark of the 2 dog videos. I knew that the channel had been taken down, but I thought that maybe I could find a logo to use in the edit. What I wasn't expecting to find was a Facebook page, where they still upload to this day. Although, since their days on YouTube, KM Animal seems to have been filling in other niches, such as animal birth, animals fighting, terrorizing fish with soft drinks, malicious trapping techniques, and animals humping. But nestled in between these, we can still find animal rescue videos. Earlier in this video, I showed you a video of a kitten trapped in a snake pit, and I spoke about how Edwards Hill had a trend of snake attack animal rescues on their channel. Well, horrifyingly, it seems they weren't the only one. Here are 2 of the videos, one involving kittens, one involving a bird, and both involving snakes. As you might imagine, these formats are pretty much identical and entirely predictable, except now we see the animals before they even get into danger, which I must admit is brave on KM Animals' part because it shows that they were there the entire time. After several minutes of watching the snake get closer to the cats and the bird, we see the snake finally enter the cave. We cut away from the bird immediately, but for the kitten video, we watch them panic for a whole minute. Then we see the hero going about their day carrying a big stick, which is inexplicably a trope in this genre. And then they notice the animals in distress. Heroically, they grab the snake and run away with them, saving the day. And then this guy takes the cats home for some reason, probably to film more videos like this. But by now, we all know that these videos are as fake as they come, and that these people are actively abusing animals for views. But if you wanted even more proof of that, here's one part in the kitten video that I didn't show you. I'm not really sure how you can claim innocence on that one. So far, this video hasn't been particularly cheery. We've seen a kitten hung by a rope, a dog cut with a knife, and a bird constricted by a snake. Your day or your week may already be ruined, but what I'm about to show you will make everything you've seen so far look tame. I'm about to share with you the most sadistic channel that I could find. A channel whose videos are so heartbreaking that many of them are legitimately burned into my mind. But before we get to that, I'd like to make some time for some dishonourable mentions. Number 6. ShUsHi. Roping kids into these videos adds another immoral layer, However, doing so is usually a good way to reveal that the situations aren't real. No channel is less believable than ShUSHi, which not only hosts the worst acting on YouTube, but for some reason they like to include Christmas music, which is a personal but much less serious gripe that I have. Number 5. ShUsHi Production. Aside from video after video of cats and dogs with their heads trapped in ways that they could not possibly have done themselves, ShUsHi Production had a brief trend of dog drowning videos. And while the dogs weren't killed, this is enough to put them towards the top of my list. Number 4. Abel Music. Abel Music only has 2 videos on its channel, but together they have over 7 million views. To me, this suggests that they once had far more content, and that YouTube managed to crack down on most of it. Hopefully together, we can get these last 2 deleted. Number 3. Pet's House. This channel has a particular gimmick that I haven't seen anywhere else. The protagonist rides along on his motorbike, stopping people who are carrying dogs. Supposedly, the dogs are to be sold for meat, which isn't exactly outside the realm of possibility since we do the same thing to chickens, pigs, cows and fish. But it does become unbelievable when you see the same woman selling the dogs time and time again. Additionally, this channel is no stranger to trapped animals in horrific situations. Number 2 is The Dogs Rescue. An ironic name, this channel has nearly 4 million views despite having only 18 videos. This channel made it so high on my list because I almost didn't include them. Their videos are actually pretty believable, at least they are to me. But I started to have my doubts when I realised that the majority of these dogs were tied up and certain themes started to repeat. But what really gave The Dogs Rescue the number 2 spot on this list was when I visited their community tab. There I learned that they have at least 2 sister channels, Ngovang Hung Vlog and Rescue the Dog's Paw. Between the 3 channels, they have over 16 million views. But the worst part is, they're monetized. They've only been making fake rescue videos for the past 3 months, and a rough estimate puts them at having made $64,000 in that time, all off the back of animal cruelty. TNS Troll is a channel based out of Vietnam that first found success with Free Fire fan videos, a game similar to PUBG that is particularly popular in Southeast Asia. Until 3 months ago, they were uploading every couple of days and had amassed over 450,000 views, and they had gotten themselves monetized. In the 3 months that they were making these videos, it's likely that they earned around $1,500 USD, which is not a number to be sniffed at. But after a short break, there was a dramatic shift in the kind of content that they would release. Like many of the channels I've shown you already, this one is no stranger to snake videos. So far, they only have 3, but by the time you watch this, there may be more. But here's something that we haven't spoken about with these videos so far. It's that the kitten isn't the only victim here, although we could probably agree that they have it worse. The snakes used in these videos are also at the receiving end of animal abuse, so I think it's really important that we acknowledge that. It's easy to feel sorry for the kittens since they're cute and fluffy, but snakes just want to live their lives as much as cats do. Take a look at the way these people handle the snakes. While it may be life-saving for the kitten, it's not particularly in the snake's best interest. We have to remember that these snakes were put into this situation. They didn't choose the kitten as their prey. But since they're carnivores, they're unlikely to turn down an animal that was pretty much put into their laps. Just looking at this channel, if we put the snakes side by side and we start to compare the patterns on their bodies, particularly this black mark on the back of their heads, it becomes immediately obvious that they're reusing the same snake over and over. Although the cats, at least, do seem to be different. But are they all? Here are 2 very similar videos. The same situation, the same fishing net, the same woman, and who appears to be the same cat. These videos go exactly as you'd expect them to by now. Long establishing shots, a person being filmed doing something mundane, an overly dramatic noticing of the animal in danger, and a so-called rescue. But there are other similar videos on this channel, such as a kitten trapped under a pile of bricks, or having their head trapped in a basket. But the other situations on this channel are more unique. One of the more upsetting situations I found was this cat, who had somehow squeezed into this large plastic bottle and thrown into water. The opening 22 seconds of this video are genuinely terrifying and difficult to watch, as the bottle begins to fill with water, and the cat begins to panic more and more. We also have a video of a cat who has just been tossed into a plastic bag and trapped under rocks in a river. Judging by their movements, they have all but given up. And what makes this video particularly upsetting is when the cat looks directly into the camera. At this moment, you become fully aware that the person who did this to them is stood there with a camera, filming them for entertainment. And this wouldn't be the only time that this channel risks death for entertainment. This video shows a cat that has been shoved into machinery in such a way that they're hanging by their neck. And like a lot of the videos we've seen previously, they have a child involved. But compared to these next videos I'm about to show you, the cats we've seen so far could be considered lucky. At least they survived. TNS Troll had a short-lived trend of bear trap videos, where they would find a cat who had gotten snapped up by the jaws. The first time, this cat managed to survive, but the second time, the cat would be killed by the same trap. At the beginning of this video, I gave you a content warning, and I think that right now, it's important that we repeat that. If you're sensitive to this kind of content, you need to consider right now whether you really want to watch this next section. If not, that's not a problem. You can skip to this time to see what you can do about the situation. This video would be disturbing even to a viewer who doesn't yet know that the situation was staged. A depressing accident, perhaps. But this was no accident. In fact, this was planned. And the killer is holding the camera. Time and time again, we've seen this very same cat suffering a lifetime of abuse. Plastic bags, rivers, bricks, plastic bottles, snakes, fishing nets, baskets, and bear traps. A life like this is hardly worth living. And finally, the cat can now rest in peace. For the cat, it's finally over. But not for the abusers behind the camera. There is this seriously disturbed subgenre inside the fake rescue video genre, where the people involved find dead animals, most if not all being animals that they themselves had killed. This same dead cat would go on to be filmed in 2 separate rivers as if they had been found there. Another video would claim that they had died with their head trapped between 2 planks of wood. This is the very same video that I had previously seen on the Edwards Hill channel before it got suspended. At this point, we're watching a small team of people continue to play with the dead body of a cat that they murdered, using them as a prop. They'll go on to bury and dig up this poor cat's body time and time again until it's unusable. And due to the success of these videos, in all likelihood, they're still making these videos today with another victim. Now you may recognize this location, and you'd have good reason to. This is the same place that we previously saw a cat trapped in wire meshing. In fact, this is the very same cat. There is an intrinsic link between TNS Troll and Edwards Hill, and it's likely they're not the only ones. On this channel, these videos have a small amount of views. They've been uploading multiple times a day, and they've been posting these videos for less than a week. It's clear to me that these are re-uploads, and that as soon as one channel goes down, its content is re-uploaded elsewhere. Everything I've shown you today is at best the tip of the iceberg. So just how are we going to stop it? In the description, you'll find links to every channel that I've mentioned today. If you have a few moments, please go down there and click on each one and report each channel for animal abuse. Now this is an ongoing problem, so the work doesn't stop there. I've just started a new subreddit called Fake Rescues, and I'm looking for mods to help me manage it. So if you're interested in helping me manage r/fake rescues, please leave me a comment down below with your Reddit username. We may never see the end of these videos, but at least we can make it difficult for them. Before you go, I'd like to give a huge thank you to my patrons. That's Katie Orange, Stacey Atkins, Ekaterina Maranova, Ryan Kleincourt, Amy Lee, Matthew D, Sleeps8, Ash Q, Kathy Lawrence, Con3, Mark Henderson, AS, and Davcy. Okay, this is growing every single week. I thank you so much for supporting my work. If you want to get your name on that list and you value my work too, then the Patreon link is in the description, and you do get some extra perks with that too. I'd also like to give a quick shout out to Tone, who left a comment on my previous main video, exploring the Peter Kills Animals rabbit hole. They said, "This one is really interesting. I fell for the anti-Peter stuff hook, line and sinker, giving me a lot to look at. Thanks." And I really like that comment because it reminded me of myself. I believed all this Peter kills animals nonsense, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do too, or did. I'd also like to say thank you to Not Today Tay for sharing that video on Instagram. Go and give both those guys a follow. If you want to get yourself mentioned at the end of my next main video, there are 2 ways to do that. You can leave a comment on this video. If it's interesting or creative enough, I'll show it in the next video. Or you could screenshot this video and post it on Instagram, either a post or a story. Just make sure you tag me in it so I see it. Lastly, I'd like to thank you for watching until the end of this video. I know it was a very difficult topic to watch because it was a difficult topic to research and to edit. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.